Our app is sounding a little robotic with its answers. Yes, no, maybe. Actually, a robot would probably sound more like affirmative, negative, indeterminate. Okay, well, since our app is a crystal ball, let's make it sound a little more mystical, a little more like an all knowing oracle. Let's give it a whole array of mystical phases to choose from. Ooh. We're going to work with a programming data structure known as an array. Arrays are used to store data in a structured fashion. They're basically a list of items, any kind of item, organized in a manner such that each item, or element, in the array can be accessed using a number. The number is known as the index of the element and is simply a counter of the elements that starts at 0 and is incremented by 1 for each additional element. The items in the array can be any kind of data type or object. Our app will use an array of string objects because each answer will be stored as text in a string. Let's create our array of answers to illustrate this. In the onClick method, insert a new line at the top of the method. Our array declaration will be similar to how we declare a string variable, like the answer variable right here, but it will have a few key differences. First, start by typing string, followed by open and closed square brackets, like this. Then type a space and a name for the variable. We'll use answers, and a semicolon. So here we have a new variable called answers, and we declared it to be an array of strings, or a string array. This shows how you can make an array of any data type or object. All you need to do is add square brackets after the data type. The square brackets indicate that it's an array, and the data type indicates what kind of items are going to be held inside that array. Now for the assignment side of things. I'm going to paste in 9 answers, 3 for yes, 3 for no, and 3 for maybe. All right, let's talk about this syntax. First, notice that the items of the array are surrounded by curly braces. Once again, the curly braces are used to denote a block of code, this time denoting the items that go inside the array. Each item, or element of the array, is separated by a comma, and since these are string elements, they're surrounded with double quotes. So, it is certain is the first element of the array, it is decidedly so is the second element, and so on. Let's take another look at how we randomly select yes, no, or maybe. Right now we're randomly choosing a number, 0, 1, or 2, and then checking the value of that number to set the answer. We want to change that to now randomly select an answer from our array. Our array has 9 elements in it, so we want to randomly choose a number up to 9 instead of 3. Let's change line 41 to call the next int method with 9 instead of 3. This will give us a number from 0 to 8, since 9 is excluded. The index of our array starts at 0, so this actually works perfectly to select one of our 9 elements. Having the index of an array start at 0 can be a little confusing at first, so bear with me. The first element of the array, in this case the string "it is certain," is the element at index 0. The next element, "it is decidedly so," is at index 1, and so on up until the last element, "unable to answer now," which is at index 8. I think it helps to relate this to how we track age in years. Our first year of life is spent being 0 years old, so 0 would be the index for the first element, or year, of our life. Index 1 would be for the second year, when we're labeled as 1 year old. Clear as mud, right? Again, the more you use this, the more it feels natural. Okay, back to our code. We still have a problem with line 41. What happens if we add a new answer to our array, like this? Now we have 10 elements in the array, but we're only selecting a random number up to 9. We need to change 9 to 10 here in line 41. If we don't, then the random index for this new element, 9, will never get called. Wouldn't it be nice if we could somehow use the number of elements in the array as our parameter instead of a hard-coded number? Then we wouldn't have to change it every time we add or delete elements. Aha! Good old Java has a nice way for us to do this. Delete 9 and type answers.length. Make sure you type answers with an S, which is the name of our array, and not just answer, which is the name of our string variable. Now this gives us, as you might guess, the length of the answers array, which is the same thing as the number of elements in it. So by using this property of the array, we will always pass in the right number of elements. This saves us the work of changing specific hard-coded numbers. and it also protects us against errors. For example, if we had deleted an element from the array and then tried to access it using that index, we would have gotten an error. Notice that the length property was accessed by typing the array name followed by a dot. So far, we've been making heavy use of this dot notation syntax without really talking about it. Every time we type a variable name followed directly by a dot and let IntelliSense pop up, we're using this dot notation. Basically, the idea is that we use a dot character to access some detail of the object to the left of the dot. This is just a simple way of drilling into the details of an object, and it can help make things quick and easy to type and read when you're drilling into a complex object. Okay, so we have a random index generated. How do we use that to get an element from the array? Well, like this. Let's delete all these lines. And then type answer equals the name of our array, answers with an S, then an open square bracket, random number for the index we just generated, then closing square bracket and semicolon. This syntax says, hey, answers array, give me the element at index random number. Now, we could have plugged in a number here instead of a variable, but that would always give us the same element of the array. For example, if we had answers 0, the answer variable would always be set to it is certain. Okay, let's save and test this out to make sure it works. Okay, if we tap the button, we'll see some of our mystical phrases show up in the answer label. All right. Now we're cooking with gas. We have a fully functional app with a little personality. But there's some room for improvement in the code we've written so far. Let's clean it up and make it a little more professional grade.